Dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still, you are here. That is not a sign of weakness, that is a sign of immense strength. Not the kind they teach in the world, but the kind only silence, surrender, and self-love can build. You are not broken. My dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still, you are here. That is not a sign of weakness, that is a sign of immense strength. Not the kind they teach in the world, but my dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still, you are here. That is not a sign of weakness, that is a sign of immense strength. My dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still, you are here. That is not a sign of weakness. My dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still, you are here. That is not a sign of weakness, that my dear friend, you have my dear friend, you have come through my dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear. My dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still, you are here. That is not a sign of weakness, that is my dear friend, my dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment. My dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment. My dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still. My dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still, you are here. That is not a sign of weakness, that is a sign of immense strength. Not the kind they teach in the world, but the kind only silence, surrender. My dear friend, you have come through so much. My dear friend, you have come through so much disappointment, loss, rejection, shame, fear, and still, you are here. That is not a sign of weakness, that is a sign of immense strength. Not the kind they teach in the world, but the kind only silence, surrender, and self-love can build. You are not broken. You are becoming visible to yourself. One day, you will wake up and realize you no longer want to fight who you are. You'll look in the mirror, not to criticize, but to witness. You'll forgive the version of yourself that tried too hard. You'll feel peace, not from everything being perfect, but from not needing it to be. And that day is a sacred rebirth. It may come quietly on an ordinary Thursday. Just like today, here's something I want you to hold onto. Your soul isn't waiting for a grand event, it's waiting for your permission to be soft, to be seen, to be you, fully and without apology. You don't need to find the light. You are the light, only hidden beneath layers of forgetting. So, when the world demands more, when the voice in your mind tells you you're not enough, return here, to this breath, to this moment, to this monk sitting with you under the Bodhi tree. And remember, you were never empty, you were simply distracted. We will continue this conversation, my friend, because awakening isn't a single step, it's a sacred unfolding. And in page 3, we will explore the sacred art of letting go. What you release, you rise beyond. But for now, let the silence speak louder than the noise, let the stillness carry you home. You are enough, you are whole, and you are ready. Continue the journey, page 3 coming soon, the sacred art of letting go, letting go. 2 words that sound so simple, yet carry the weight of lifetimes, and yet, it is only by letting go that we truly begin to rise. I welcome you back, my friend. We've sat together in stillness, we've looked into the mirror of your soul and remembered your wholeness, and now, we take another sacred step into the powerful, liberating art of release. There was a season in my own life where I clung tightly to many things. Old beliefs, expectations, guilt, even pain. I thought that holding on was a form of strength, that to release meant to surrender, or even to lose, but oh, how wrong I was. Because nothing burdens the soul more than the weight it no longer needs to carry. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, during my time in the Himalayan monastery, a young monk came to me during the winter retreat. He had been struggling with resentment toward his father, his past, and most painfully, himself. We sat in silence for many days, no words, just presence. Then, one morning, I handed him a heavy stone and asked him to carry it with him everywhere. At first, it was easy. By the afternoon, he began to grow tired. By evening, his arm ached. By day 3, he looked at me with pleading eyes and said, "Master, may I let it go?" I nodded. He dropped the stone, and in that small act, he wept. Not for the weight of the stone, but for the years he'd spent carrying it invisibly in his heart. What stones are you still carrying? Maybe they are old regrets, words spoken in anger, or never spoken at all. Maybe it's a love that left, or a version of yourself you're still chasing. But understand this, what you carry in your hands shapes how you walk. What you carry in your soul shapes who you become. Letting go is not forgetting. It's not pretending something didn't hurt. It's choosing not to let the pain define your future. You don't need to fix the past. You only need to free yourself from its grip. There's a sacred truth I've learned. Everything you release makes room for something higher. Release anger, make space for compassion. Release control, make space for trust. Release judgment, make space for love. You do not rise by climbing higher, you rise by becoming lighter. My dear friend, ask yourself, what am I ready to let go of today? Is it a story that no longer serves you, a belief that you're not good enough, a fear that has silenced your voice? These things are not you. They are weather passing through your sky. You are not the clouds, you are the sky itself. Let me share another story. There was once an old monk who carried a bowl carved from a single piece of sandalwood. It had been passed down for generations. One day, the bowl cracked. The younger monks were distraught, but the elder smiled and said, "A cracked bowl still holds light. Sometimes what breaks us is what lets the light in, and sometimes letting go isn't an act of loss. It's an act of grace." So today, on this sacred Thursday, don't ask, "What do I need to do?" Ask instead, "What am I willing to release?" And listen carefully. Because your soul is always whispering the answer. You are not your pain, you are not your story. You are not your past, you are the awareness. Behind it all, the witness, the stillness, the space between each breath, and in that space, you are free. We will meet again soon, and when we do, we'll explore another sacred truth. Page 4, how to return to the present moment. And stay there, but until then, place your burdens down, let the light return, and walk forward, lighter, freer, and closer to yourself. Welcome back, my friend. We've walked together through stillness, through self-remembering, through the sacred release of what no longer serves. And now, we arrive here to the most important step of all, returning to the present moment and learning how to stay. So many of us live in the past, regretting, repeating, replaying, or in the future worrying, reaching, rushing, but the soul only breathes in one place, now, and if you are not present here, you will miss the only life you ever truly have. Let me share something with you. Presence is not something you chase, it is something you return to again and again and again. I used to believe that becoming awakened meant arriving at some permanent state of peace, a place beyond stress, beyond distraction, beyond pain, but I've come to see, awakening is not a destination, it is a choice, a practice, a discipline of the now. We do not need more time, we need more presence in time. You can be sitting at dinner with your family and still be lost in your worries. You can be walking through a garden and still be tangled in the past. You can be breathing and still feel absent from your own life. So the question is not, where are you? It's, are you here? One of the greatest practices I ever learned was this: anchor yourself. An anchor is any simple act that pulls you back into your body, your breath, this moment. It could be the sound of wind through the trees, the feeling of your heartbeat, the warmth of a teacup in your hands, the rhythm of your breath, the act of placing your hand gently over your chest. Each of these is an invitation to return. The present moment is always speaking to us. But are we quiet enough to hear? I remember a time when I asked my teacher, how can I stay present all the time? He smiled and said, you can't, but you can return 1,000 times a day. That single sentence set me free because it taught me that even the most mindful monk will drift. The power lies not in perfect attention, but in gentle return. You may forget, you may drift. You may fall into old thoughts, old wounds, old fears. That's okay. Just come back to now, to breath, to life, raw, imperfect, miraculous. This is what it means to stay, not to hold onto a moment and freeze it in time, but to be present with the flow of now. You see, the river does not resist its course. It moves moment to moment without looking behind or ahead, and in doing so, it is free. So must we be. There is no such thing as an ordinary moment, only a distracted mind that misses the miracle. And when we are present, even washing the dishes becomes a sacred act, even folding laundry becomes a meditation, even sitting in traffic becomes a breath of stillness. The present moment holds everything you've been searching for. Let this bell be your reminder. Return, come back. Again and again. There is peace here, there is healing here, there is you here. Before we close for now, let me leave you with this invitation. Every time you feel overwhelmed, every time your mind races, every time you feel like you're losing yourself, pause, place your hand on your heart, and whisper, I am here. That's all it takes. The moment you become present, you reclaim your life. We are not done yet, my friend. The path continues, and in the next step, we will explore the hidden power of silence, what the world can't give. Stillness can, but for now, stay. Breathe, and remember, the now is your true home. Welcome back, my dear friend. You've walked far to arrive here through reflection, release, and return, and now we arrive at the most sacred chamber of all, silence. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence that heals, that restores, that tells you everything without saying a single word. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly allowed yourself to be still? Not just quiet on the outside, but still within. We live in a world that worships noise. Endless alerts, opinions, headlines, even our minds have become crowded cities of thought. But the soul lives in the countryside of silence, and that's where we must go. If we want to remember who we truly are, I once spent 40 days in silence, no speaking, no writing, no eye contact, only the breath, only the now. At first, it was unbearable. I wrestled with every thought I had buried for years, old anger, old fears. My own voice became loud inside me. But then, day by day, the noise faded, and something ancient emerged, a presence, a knowing, a peace not made of words, but of truth. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of depth, and in silence, we meet the version of ourselves we've always been before the world told us who we should be. Think of it like this: a muddy pond stirred constantly will never reflect the sky. But let it sit, let it settle, and suddenly the sky appears clearly. So too with the soul. In the silence, we don't find nothing, we find everything. We hear the whispers of our intuition, the guidance we've been praying for, the courage we didn't know we had, the softness we've been too busy to feel. Some things in life cannot be taught, they must be experienced. And silence is one of them, because in silence, ego falls away, masks dissolve. And the real self, raw, radiant, whole, rises like the morning sun. I remember something my teacher told me long ago. When the student becomes still enough, even the mountains begin to speak. And they did, not with voices, but with presence, not with answers, but with clarity. You don't need more answers, you need more space, because when the mind quiets, the soul speaks. And it says things like, you're safe now, you can rest, you are already enough, you've always been loved, so I offer you this gift today. A challenge. A blessing. Give yourself the gift of silence. 10 minutes each morning, a walk without your phone. A meal eaten in mindfulness, a journal written in stillness. Let life speak to you, and it will. Because the wisdom you are seeking is already within you. Silence is not lonely, it is not void, it is the most loyal companion of the awakened soul. Stay with it, it will never leave you. Even when the world is loud, you can carry your stillness within. That is the true sanctuary. We will meet again soon, and when we do, we will enter one of the most powerful truths of all. Page 6. Why you had to go through all of it, the pain, the waiting, the awakening. But for now, let the silence be your teacher, let it wrap around you like a sacred robe. Let it remind you that peace is not found, it is remembered, and now we sit in stillness. Together, you've returned, and you carry more than you did before, more presence, more peace, more of yourself. But there may still be a question resting quietly in your heart. One many have asked me over the years, why did I have to go through so much? Why the heartbreak? Why the delays? Why the loneliness, the fear, the silence? Let me say this to you gently. Everything, yes, everything had a purpose, not a punishment, not a cruel twist of fate, but a deeper unfolding, a preparation. The pain didn't arrive to destroy you. It arrived to awaken you. Let me tell you a story. There once was a tree, planted near the edge of a cliff. Every season, the storms came harder, winds howled, rain battered its leaves. Other trees in safer places grew taller, faster. But this one stayed small, bent, worn, weathered. Years later, the village faced a great fire. The flames swept across the plains, and the tall, beautiful trees were the first to fall. But not the one by the cliff. Its roots ran deep, its trunk, though crooked, was strong. The very storm that slowed its growth had also forged its resilience. And so I say to you, your waiting was not wasted, your struggles were not meaningless. Your journey was sacred. What you went through didn't break you, it shaped you. It stripped away what you thought you were, to reveal who you've always been. I've met souls who carry silent wounds, people who ask, why did I have to lose them? Why did it take so long to find peace? Why did I fall just when I thought I was rising? And I tell them what I'm about to tell you now, because your soul asks to remember. And sometimes we must forget who we are, lose our way, fall apart, to finally fall inward, to come home. I invite you to see your life not as a sequence of errors, but as a sacred unfolding. Every delay, every heartbreak, every moment you cried alone in the dark was an invitation to slow down, to go deeper, to become more aware, to awaken. I remember the night I broke down in silence. I had lost someone dear to me. No words could fill the space they left behind. I sat by the river for hours. I didn't pray, I didn't think, I just felt. And in that moment of pure surrender, I heard a whisper, not from the sky, but from inside me, you're still held. And I knew, even in the unraveling, I was not alone. I was being reborn. This is why you went through all of it. Not to become bitter, not to become numb, but to become real, to shed every illusion, to face every shadow, to rise. Not as who the world wanted, but as who your soul remembered. You are not your pain. You are the one who survived it. You are not your loss. You are the one who learned to live again. You are not broken. You are the wisdom that came from breaking. We're almost there, my friend. Your story is still unfolding. In our next and final chapter together, we will uncover what comes after the awakening. Page 7, the monk's final message. How to live your one precious life from here. But for now, rest in this truth. You didn't just go through it. You grew through it, and you are ready now to live, not just survive, to love, not just long for love, to walk with presence, to trust the unfolding, to begin again, awake, whole, and free. So we arrive, you've come this far, and that alone tells me something sacred about your soul, that it longs not just to exist, but to live fully, deeply, truthfully. And now, in this final message, I ask only one thing of you, to begin, not just another day, not just another task, but your life, your real life, the one you've been waiting to start. The one that doesn't begin after you have it all figured out, but begins now, messy, honest. Awake, you've faced your past, you've remembered your wholeness, you've released what no longer serves, you've returned to the present. You've found stillness in silence, you've understood your trials. So now, my friend, live. Live with intention, live with softness, live with courage. Live with your eyes open and your heart unguarded. Live like you know time is not promised. Live like your presence is a gift to this world, because it is. People ask me all the time, what is the purpose of life? And I say, the purpose is not to be perfect, it is to be present. To walk gently, to love deeply, to give without keeping score, to feel what is real, to leave this world lighter than you found it, that is all. Every breath is a beginning, every sunrise is a new scroll being written, and you, dear soul, are the author. You do not need to wait to be ready. You are ready. You do not need to wait for permission. You are the permission. Stop measuring your days by productivity, measure them by presence. By how often you smiled for no reason, by how deeply you listened to someone you love, by how many times you remembered to just breathe. This life is not something to conquer. It is something to honor. So honor it by slowing down. By laughing when you spill something, by crying when your heart needs to cleanse. By forgiving yourself when you fall short, by starting over every morning if you must. Because even the most awakened ones fall, the difference is they rise. With awareness. Look at how far you've come. This Thursday, that once seemed ordinary has become a turning point. You are not the same soul that pressed play on this journey. You have shed, you have remembered, you have grown, and now you are ready. You are no longer asleep. You are no longer waiting for the world to tell you who you are. You know now. And with that knowing comes responsibility to live your one precious life in a way that aligns with your soul, not society. So plant the seed. Start the project. Say the words. Walk the path. Be still when it matters. Speak when truth rises. And above all, be kind. We are all connected. Your peace ripples out. Your presence changes rooms. Your healing gives others permission to begin their own. So be the light. Not by trying to shine, but by simply removing what dims you. The world doesn't need a louder voice. It needs a quieter heart, a deeper soul, a present human. And that is you. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a life lived from within, of a journey walked in truth, of a soul finally awake. And when life grows noisy again, when pain returns, when old patterns whisper, remember this moment, this monk, this Thursday, and come back. You'll know the way. Because you are the way. You have arrived. Now begin. The final conversation is coming soon, and now we meet in this final moment. But do you feel it, dear one? This is not the end. This is the beginning you have long awaited. The beginning that has been quietly blooming within you all along. This entire journey, all the words, the silences, the questions, the echoes of truth, they have not been leading you toward me, they have been leading you back to yourself. Because the great secret is this: you were never lost, you were only asleep, and now the veil is lifted. You've heard me speak of stillness, of letting go, of awakening from distraction. But what I've truly wanted was for you to see yourself as I see you. Whole, worthy, ready. You see, the most important teacher you will ever meet is the one who whispers through your own intuition, the one who speaks softly when you're finally quiet enough to listen, the one who has always been with you from the very first breath. That teacher is your soul. This life will still ask things of you. It will still test you, tempt you, tire you. But now, you hold the map. You no longer walk blindly. You walk with vision, with truth, with the knowing that you are not here to perform, but to live. You are not here to impress, but to express the divine truth pulsing through your being. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs you, your gentleness, your presence, your depth. It needs your kindness in dark corners, your forgiveness when cycles try to repeat, your trust when all seems uncertain. Remember, you are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not your doubts. You are the one who observes them all. And from that place, you are free. My dear listener, my fellow traveler, this series began on a Thursday, but it ends outside of time because the truths we've uncovered, the wisdom you now carry, is eternal. It doesn't expire. It doesn't waver with trends or moments. It lives in your breath, in your presence, in your choice, every day, to live awakened. And when others are lost, you will be the one they find glowing in stillness. What now? Now, you go back into the world, not as a seeker, but as one who has found. Back to your family, back to your work, back to your body, your purpose, your soul. But this time, you carry light, not borrowed, but born from within. And if ever you forget, if the noise rises again, if the fear returns and clouds your truth, remember this: you are not alone. You never were. You never will be. The soulful wisdom will always be here. A quiet space, a sacred friend, a mirror to remind you of what you are. The journey ends. The soul awakens. The life begins. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Subscribe to this channel, Soulful Wisdom. Share your favorite moment in the comments. I read each one. Come back whenever you need peace. We are here. Peace be upon your path, now and always. Your life will never be the same after this. This is not just a video. This is your sacred turning point in this final soul-stirring Message: the monk brings everything together, your struggles, your healing, your awakening into one profound realization. You are always the answer. Subscribe to Soulful Wisdom. If this journey moved you, share it, let someone else remember what it means to be fully alive.